When Quebec was added to the 2024 XTERRA World Cup lineup, it had many pro athletes licking their lips in anticipation. The area is notorious for some of the best mountain biking on the planet, and with the 75 kilometers of Empire 47 trail network at the organisers' disposal, the debut did not disappoint. With 175 series points at stake throughout 2 races in just 3 days. Big jumps, big crashes, race-ending mechanicals, and a late season return to form that could see the series come down to the absolute wire. Stay tuned for all the mud, sweat and tears as we recap how it happened at Quebec at Stop 5 of the XTERRA World Cup.
Mesdames et messieurs, public XTERRA, Québec, les spectateurs!
It was the fast and furious short track race that was set to get things started. The race would see athletes go from standing to full speed on a 2-loop, 400-metre swim in the waters of Lac de Lage. Transitioning to the bike, it would then be a question who has the best speed and flow through the 4 laps of the 8-kilometre ride. The finish would be a fast one, with open trails and very little elevation through the 2-lap, 1.8-kilometre run. With the women up first and Sandra Meyerhofer absent from the lineup, it was the long-standing battle between Solène Bilwan and Elise Patiez that had fans talking.
Yeah, for sure. It will be maybe a battle with Solène. She seems in shape. So yeah, it's nice. I love the game, so I will play.
The race started fast and hard, but Solène Bilwan quickly made her way to the front, exiting the water in the lead and keeping it onto the bike course. Behind her, Elise Patiez put in a solid performance, maintaining her place in second without a challenge throughout the course. But despite looking the best through the jump line, the defending World Cup champion was unable to chase down the world champ. Behind Bilwan and Patiez, the battle for third was raging, with Marta Mendito, Anna Zender and Susie Snyder all taking turns to hold third. But it was once again Solène Bilwan who would cross the line in first, with the seemingly unstoppable world champion holding the lead for the entire race.
The XTERRA short track in Quebec here today was really amazing, and I was really uncertain about my shape, but I'm happy to take the win and find back some confidence.
Elise Patiez would have to settle for a hard-fought second place, with a chance for redemption in the full distance race still to come. The race for third came down to the wire, but it was the fastest run split of the day from Anna Zender that would seal it, with the Swiss athlete claiming her first podium finish of the series, just steps ahead of a deflated Marta Mendito. Next up were the men, and all eyes were on Stop 4 winner Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen and the trio of Frenchmen looking to fend off his imminent attack on the bike.
I'm so excited for that. I think I should be able to win here. I proved that I could beat the Fauché brothers and the other French, so this gives me a lot of confidence.
Michele Bonacina led out of the water, the Italian clearly now back to full form following that injury at stop number 1. Federico Spinazzi was close behind in second, but it didn't take long for Felix Frissier to take command, the Frenchman looking intent on solidifying his place at the top of the rankings. As Frissier began to drop riders, Sloth Nielsen was picking them off, using the jump line to his advantage and passing 2 to 3 riders per lap. Arthur Serrières dared to keep up with the Flying Dane, but paid the full price with a miscalculated landing that saw the world champ out of the race and into the medical tent. Bonacina held on behind Frissier, with the two heading into transition ahead of a charging Sloth Nielsen. There was nothing that could stop Frissier, but the fight for second was on, and Sloth Nielsen was up for the challenge. It was Felix Frissier who crossed the line in first to extend his series lead.
I'm happy because my goal to come in Quebec, it was to keep my first place in the World Cup ranking, and now I am really focused to the full distance.
Sloth Nielsen worked his way into second to declare that the series is still far from over. Michele Bonacina crossed the line in third.
Ladies and gentlemen, winning XTERRA short track, Michele Bonacina, Jensen with the Sloth Nielsen, and Felix Frissier.
With just a day and a half for recovery, the men were back on the shore of Lac de Large for the full distance race, including the recovering Arthur Serrières with his battered knee still in question. Fog rolled in just minutes before the start, setting an ominous tone for what is arguably the most nail-biting race the series has seen. An aggressively fast start from the men saw Mohamed Al-Sabah from Syria lead the world-class field out of the water in his first ever XTERRA race, but only seconds ahead of a large and dangerous chase pack, all entering transition together. But it was on the bike where the real battles began, and relentlessly continued for the entirety of the 31 kilometres. Felix Frissier, Arthur Serrières and Michele Bonacina quickly took the lead, while Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen started working his way up from the back. But between the French, the Italian and the Dane, not a single rider was ready to let up the pace, with the top 10 riders separated by just 90 seconds after the first loop. By the start of the run, Sloth Nielsen had joined the party, and the Dane was locked in for a foot race with the two fastest Frenchmen and Italy's Michele Bonacina. Fresh out of 4 weeks of elevation training and ready to silence the doubters, Arthur Serrières immediately got to work. Dropping the pack on the first climb, the Frenchman carved open nearly a 2-minute gap to claim the win in Quebec.
I'm super happy about my win today, and yeah, I was in a bad mood after a short track because I just fall and it's a long trip, but yeah, that's really nice, and I have a really great race with Jens and Felix in the front.
Opening a significant gap himself, it was Sloth Nielsen who finished in second, beating Felix Frissier in third to leave the series wide open for the final two stops. It was drama and despair that would define the women's race, with Solène Bilwan looking to extend her lead beyond an all but insurmountable 120 points, while rival Elise Patiez sought to stop that train in its tracks. An equally rapid start saw Marta Mendito lead out of the water for the first time in the series, giving herself the best possible start to build on with her two strongest disciplines still to come. Elise Patiez and Susie Snyder were in close pursuit, with Solène Bilwan ready to mount her attack on the bike. But it was on the bike that it all went wrong for Patiez. A broken chain early on the first loop saw the defending World Cup champion watch her campaign suffer its biggest setback yet, as the reality of a DNF set in. Bilwan quickly powered her way to the front, with veteran racer Susie Snyder finding the perfect rhythm and flow of the trails to move past Mendito into second place. Heading into the run, there was no stopping Bill 1, as the chance to hammer another nail in the series coffin was now in sight. Finishing with a gap of over 5 minutes, the world champ is fast becoming a puzzle to which nobody seems to have the answer.
Yeah, of course, now I'm quite safe in the overall for the World Cup, so I can also focus on something else. And this something else that's the Worlds in September.
With first place locked in, all eyes turned to Susie Snyder and Marta Mendito in the battle for second and third. Snyder proved to be better on the bike, but on the run it was the rising Italian star who not only ran herself into second in Quebec, but also second place in the overall rankings. An incredible performance saw a welcome return to the podium for Snyder, with all the race experience from the 6-time USA champ on full display, although it was evident that she would pay the price for giving everything she had. It was a World Cup debut that delivered on the hype. Arthur Serrier's remarkable comeback does not move the needle much for his campaign, but he has now opened the door for Jens Emil Sloth-Nielsen to take the series in the final straight. Almost nothing can stop Bill 1 from becoming the 2024 World Cup champion, but as both she and Elise Patiez all know too well, mechanicals are part of the game and can have dire consequences. 5 stops down and just 2 to go. Next, the series heads to the Czech Republic, where the pressures of the penultimate stop are sure to be compounded for the fight for the European Championship title at one of XTERRA's most infamous venues. Check out the World Cup Series page on XTERRAplanet.com for more World Cup content, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for the next video when the World Cup Series heads to stop 6 in Prashotica, Czech Republic.